Welcome to our submission video for the final part of our open source POE. In this part, we have developed an application called ChronoStack, which now connects to the database, Firebase. We will start off by showing you the entries that already exist in the database, starting off with our login information. So these are the accounts that are currently registered in the app. Then next we'll go on to the entries that exist in the database. So we have leave requests, the projects and timesheet entries. And then we move over to the images which correspond to the entries that were shown previously. And now moving on to the application. The phone of my friend is currently connected on the emulator for Android Studio.
Okay, so when the application starts, there will be a splash screen, and then it'll take you to the login screen. There will also be a button to allow you to sign up, which will create a new account in the Firebase authentication. But I'll use a currently existing login. This screen will also allow you to reset your password if it's forgotten through the Firebase. There we go. So then it'll take you to the home page, which will have buttons for each function. So first we will create a project, and you can click here to load already existing projects. And I'll create a project called test project with the date of between the 1st and the 30th of June. You can create a new category if you would like. So I'll create one called test and add it, and you can use that for your category. The project can also be billable or not billable, and I'll make it billable. Then you can create the new project and click to load the projects again. You can then click on these projects to view the details of each project. The next thing will be to create a new timesheet entry where you can select the date, and I'll select today's date, and you can select any existing project. So I'll select the new one that's been created. You can select the start time, which I'll set to 6, and then the end time you can set as well. And then it shows the duration for how many hours you've worked for the specific timesheet entry. You can then add a description for the timesheet and upload an image, and then it'll show the image that's being uploaded in place of the previous image that was there. And then you can create an entry which will add your timesheet to the database. Then you'll be able to view entries, and then you can click all, which will display all of your projects. And then you can do searches for between specific dates, which will then show only specific projects. So these are the only projects that are displayed between the two dates that have been specified.
Now moving on to the daily goals. Users are able to set a minimum and a maximum daily goal. So this is as simple as the drop-down menus are 1 to 8. They cannot set a maximum value underneath the minimum value. Okay, once the goals are set, then we can move over to the progress page, where we have two options here to display the goals for the previous month's entries. So all the entries of May, it will display whether they have met the goals. So if they were within the goal that they have set previously, then it will be green. If they are over it, then they will be yellow. And if they are underneath the goals, then it will be red. Then moving on to the total hours worked graph. Now this works with a date frame, where a user can select the date frames they want to view the entries that they've added. Once we click display graph, it will show us the graph with the entries that fall within that date range, and also the minimum and maximum goals on this graph too. Now moving on to the leave request, our final feature. Users are able to request for leave via this app, which will then be sent through to external app where they can use this data for leave performances, and this data is just stored in the Firebase database. Okay, finally, we move over to our nav bar where we have a welcome message based on your email address that you logged in with. Then we have the home button, then we have the settings option, which then allows you to select a reminder time for you to remember or remind you when to set an entry, which will then send a notification on the time that you have set. And then the start week is, some users have preferences on which day their calendar should start. So should they choose Monday, the calendars will all start on Monday. Once they click the Save Settings button, all the calendar options and the reminder for the alarm will be set. And then finally, we have the FAQ section where a list of questions will be available on any features of the app which you are not sure of. And that then brings us to the end of our demonstration for this app. We can then go back to the Firebase database and see that our new entries and new projects have been stored in. Okay, and then the final thing in our app, once we exit here, once we log out, it will go back to the login page where you can then sign up if you do not have an account, and should you have an account, then you can go back in and use the app. Thanks for watching.